Good morning or good evening, everyone, depending on the time zone that you're in. It might be very late for some of our presenters and moderators. So I'm Christine Bawa Ramazani, co-founder of the Electronic Village Online. And we have with us Vance Stevens, long-term coordinator of EVO. We also have Chien, who is one of our current coordinators, and we have our presenters for today's sessions. So we will start with Maha Hassan, who will talk about the common European framework of reference as assessment, and discussing whether the new version will show us anything new. So without further ado, I'm going to
Without further ado, let's remind everybody this is the 20th anniversary of EVO 2021.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we'll turn it over now to Maha.
Okay, thank you. So I shall share screen once more.
Sure, and you can put it in present mode.
Yeah, okay. Okay, is that fine?
Perfect.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon. As Christina has already said, according to the time zone, maybe some people are already enjoying the evening now. It's great again to be with the EVO again on TESOL convention again. It's always a pleasure, and congratulations again once more for the 20th anniversary of EVO. I've been with EVO now for about 4 years, and it's always a pleasure to meet new people, learn more, and gain more info as we go ahead. For the last 2 years, I have been working on the CEFR, the Common European Framework for Languages, and I've been studying it in collaboration with or in relation to assessment. And so I have worked this in the form of an interesting session on EVO for 2 years. I have divided it into 5 weeks, as I'm going to discuss now, and see what we have already done over there. This is the common CEFR versus assessment. And to give a hint about myself, I'm an educational consultant, a teacher trainer, founder of Teaching ESL Hub, and at the same time, I'm the newsletter editor for IETFL Ipsensig. And I've also become member at large at one of the intersections of TESOL this year. It's going to be officially presented tomorrow, hopefully. As for our course, once more, let's get back to the EVO. Our session, which is the CEFR versus assessment, this year had 62 applicants from about 15 countries. We had 4 webinars each week. I contacted with the applicants, and we discussed different topics according to the items that we were supposed to do each week. And this was done on Moodle for Teachers platform. Thank you for Nelly for hosting us as usual. When I started the whole idea of the CEFR versus assessment, we discussed the idea of what is the CEFR, and it's the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. And I have attracted the attention of the teachers to the main idea that the CEFR is fundamentally a tool to assist the planning of curricular courses and examination by working backwards from what the learners or users need to be able to do in the language, which is the very important point over here, that when we plan our courses, workshops, our activities, we have to keep in mind what is our aim, where do we want to take our learners, and how are we going to do that, and is it suitable for the level or not? So in order to do that, we need to have a close look to the items that can help us to assess the level of our own students. Again, I gave a background about the CEFR and how it started with the 6 divisions of A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, and how did they develop with the new revisions. They kept the scales as they are, but they have added to them a pre-A1, A1, A1 plus, B1, B1 plus, A1, A1 plus, B1, B1 plus, but they kept C1 and C2 as they are, because they have already made different kinds of interviews around Europe with different teachers, and they told them that these divisions are fine, but sometimes we are not able to fit our own students into them. So they are sometimes something in between. That's why they have set these different extra scales, and they have set separate descriptors for them. How did they divide the descriptors? They divided them into 4 categories. Instead of dealing with them as the 4 skills of the English language, they have dealt them into competencies and activities and strategies. They started with general competencies, communicative language competencies, communicative language activities, and communicative language strategies. And they have added to them two very important points here in interaction and mediation. They insisted on the point that our students learn knowledge, and we train them how to use this knowledge in doing and solving different exercises. But when they come to speak about what are they going to do with the knowledge that we have given them, they are going to, what is the savoir-être? Savoir-être means that how are they going to use it to speak about different topics? And then savoir-apprendre, how are they going to personalize the language learned, how they are going to use the info learned, the knowledge, the vocabulary, the grammar into speaking about personal life or personal issues that have to do with their own daily lives. They have divided the descriptors according to receptive activities, productive activities, interaction, and mediation. These were all set for the first week as a kind of introduction to the whole idea of the new changes of the CEFR. And then for the next week, we have discussed the idea of receptive activities and how, what are the different ideas that have been said there, the changes, what is new about the descriptors, how this help the teachers, can help the teachers to assess their own students and prepare certain activities that can really help the students to develop with the learning of the language and interact using the language. That was the first week we did with the receptive activities and then with the productive activities. And I asked the teachers as a kind of assignment that they go back and look at some of the lesson plans that they have already done and try to apply some of these ideas to them. If they want to improve or adjust or add something new to their own lessons, how can they use these new items or descriptors in order to develop their own lessons? And then the next week we discussed what they have already done, and then we moved on to the idea of interaction. Here, as you can see, that the new changes of the CEFR have insisted on the importance of interactive activities and on doing group work and pair work inside the class, and how to they insisted on the idea of discussions among the class and different kinds of discussions. How can we, as teachers, vary the different kinds of group work that we do inside the class, different discussions, different presentations, and so on. And they clarified this point in mediation. The mediation, which is now one of the highlights of the new CEFR revision, is the mediation is the kind of text that we should use as teachers in order to help our students to learn. What kind of text are we going to use? Are we going to use a story? Are we going to use a comprehension passage? Are we going to use listening, a video, a film, a picture? What kind of mediation text are we going to use? And then when we use it, how are we going to help our students when they work in group work and pair work? How are they going to collaborate in order to discuss the different concepts of the info produced, presented to them? How are they going to sit together, and what kind of work are they going to do in order to be able to present this kind of work to the rest of the class later on? How are they going to present it? Is it going to be PowerPoint presentation? Is it going to be a chart? Is it going to be a kind of role play? How are they going to do this? They have given great importance to the idea of mediation because it was not developed before, and the idea of interaction was not developed before as well. So they concentrated this time when they revised the CEFR once more. They have given great importance to the revisions made for interaction and mediation. Instead, they said we are not dictating teachers what to do inside the class. We are just raising questions and asking them to think and reflect on them, how can they use these kind of tools and descriptors to help assess their own students and develop their learning of the language inside the class. Another important point also, this is how the mediation is presented inside the new CEFR revision. They have set the different topics that they want to discuss over here, and then they said, for A1, for example, I can convey simple, predictable information given in short, simple text like signs and notices, posters, and so on. So we as teachers, when we take a look at these descriptors before we start our lessons, we have a very good idea about the level of our own students. What are their abilities? What can they really do? How can we use their skills, their level of knowledge of the language? How can they use it? We use it to plan our own activities for them in order to really function using the language learned inside the class. Another important point which has been also developed inside the new revisions of the CEFR, the online interaction. Of course, we are trapped in the online interaction nowadays, although it's really very interactive and nice, but we really miss the face-to-face classes. But again, they have developed the idea, they have set different descriptors for it, for all the levels again. And they have, as you can see over here, set a kind of, if you take a look at the descriptors on the left-hand side, they have set here the abilities of the students of these levels. What can the student really do at this level? For example, here in C1, can adapt his or her register according to the context of online interaction, moving from one register to the other within the same exchange if necessary. So they are giving you, can evaluate, restate, challenge arguments in professional or academic live, online chat, and discussion. So they are giving you an array, a kind of description of the abilities of the students over here. So if you want to work with them online, what kind of online interaction would you be able to do with them? So they have the personal, the public, the occupational, educational. These are some of the ideas that you can use online with your own students in order to help them develop the usage of the language and function using the language. So we have discussed this again on the third week, the online interaction with the teachers again, and asked them to reflect on their own lessons. And then we move to a very important part, which is plurilingualism and pluriculturalism. Again, both of them were presented in the first edition of the CEFR, but it started, they developed it highly in this one. You know that nowadays the world is becoming a smaller village, and we are having immigrants and all over the world in different countries. And so teachers sometimes get lost. What can I do with my new students? One of the teachers in one of the conferences told me that she had 23 nationalities in her class. One other teacher told me, I have 15 nationalities in my class. So what can we do? What can we as teachers, how can we use their own skills, their background, their knowledge, their culture? How can we use this in order to help them develop their own language and communicate much better with their own colleagues inside the class? So they developed this idea of plurilingualism, because here we have students with more than one language. They already have their native language, they are learning a new language, and maybe they speak a third one again at home. Pluriculturalism, they have their own culture, but they are restating themselves in a new culture. So how can we help our students in this case? So again, here, we set different definitions for plurilingualism and pluriculturalism, and with different suggestions set by the new CEFR revisions on how to use this idea of pluriculturalism with the different levels of the students that we have in class, and how we help them to speak about their different cultures according to their own levels using different topics inside the class. We discussed this a lot, and a number of teachers were so much interested in it because they reflected on their own personal experiences, and they gave us different kinds of experiences about what they face in their own classes. A very important point also, which has been added to the new CEFR revisions, is the sign language. It has been set, as you can see here, as a parallel project, parallel to the main project, but it was supported by Zurich University of Applied Sciences and the Swiss National Research Program. The most interesting thing is that they have set parallel descriptors for receptive, signing competence. All the descriptors that we have that have been set inside the new CEFR revisions have been set, parallel ones have been set for the sign language. How the teachers, as you can see over here, they have divided it into linguistic, pragmatic, and sociolinguistic ones. And then they have given instructions to the teachers how to use the same descriptors with the sign students who are using the sign language. Can you, as you see over here, with the B tool, can sign comprehensively and precisely on a complex subject. So they are giving a background to the teacher of what the student with this kind of handicap can do in class with the language, because many people believe that the students with this handicap, they are not supposed to learn the language, they just know the language, but we do not expect them to learn the language, use it, and travel and speak and communicate with the people using it. So why not help them to develop the usage of the language and become fluent speakers in their own way? So here they gave instructions to the teachers, descriptors to the teachers about the abilities of the students at this level, and they turn it into sign language, how to turn it into sign language in order to be able to do special activities for these students in order to help them to develop the usage of the language. And we had set a special timing to discuss this idea again during this session. And as we have discussed, they have discussed the grammatical accuracy, the pragmatic one, and they have set descriptors for each one. And then as well as the sociolinguistic repertoire. And then we moved on the last week, the fourth week, to the idea of young learners. As we have said, the new revisions of the CEFR have set a parallel project for the sign language. They have set another parallel project for young learners, for teachers who teach young learners, and they divided it into two parts. Teachers from teaching students from 7 to 10 years old and others from 11 to 15. And they have set descriptors for the teachers according to the same levels that we have mentioned before, the pre-A1, A1, A1 plus, and so on. They have set, as you can see here, for example, with communicative language activities, receptive activities, spoken reception, the A1 level. What can the students do at this level? So they give you a full description. You have a wide scope, a very good scope of the abilities of your students before you start work. And then, is it relevant for this age? Yes, it's relevant. What exactly can the students do at this age? I can understand a simple description of a room, a classroom, and so on. I can understand a simple description of an object. I can follow a short story and listen and do it and look at it several times. I can understand when people speak slowly, clearly, and with pauses. So they give you an array over here of the detailed abilities of the students. And the most important and nicest thing about this is that you as a teacher, you can use this to change it into a template. And this template can be very simple. You can ask your students to tell you at the end of your unit, at the end of the week, what they have learned and what can they do with the language. And they have set this into different descriptors, as you can see, for 7 to 10 years old and 11 to 15 years old. This is the link to a session at EVO with all proposals for 2021. It has been a pleasure doing this one for the second or the third year in a row. And it has always been a pleasure for me to join EVO with such sessions. And here are the references if you would like to take a screenshot for them. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, you're most welcome. Here is my blog where I have summaries for different plenary speakers from different conferences, and the YouTube channel also with different webinars and different interviews with different trainers around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Excellent work. Anybody who does an EVO session is doing excellent work, especially several years in a row.
Thank you, Maha.
It's always a pleasure.
I actually have a question. It's because right now in Taiwan, we're working on creating self-assessments for kids as young as 3rd grade would be 9 years old. And so it's really difficult because we're setting this assessment to pre-A1, and pre-A1, what you just showed us didn't indicate like a set of vocabulary that should go into pre-A1. It's only providing us like the can-do statements. And we ran into that problem of creating tests that would be pre-A1. So do you have any suggestions on that?
You mean on the topics themselves and the vocabulary to be used?
The vocabulary they use.
I think that with the new CEFR revisions, they haven't stated certain topics because it differs from one culture to the other. What is really important for the Chinese one is not going to be the same for the European one. That's why we have not said that. But there are basics. For example, if you are speaking about pre-A1, means you are speaking about first primary, mean pre-A1, or you are introducing it to older students?
Pre-A1 to pre-A1 for 9-year-olds.
So here in this case, you have to take a look at the books, the English books that you already give to your own students, and you have to make a parallelism between the CEFR and the topics that they deal with in their own classes. What kind of books are you providing them? For example, if they are learning Chinese, for sure through the Chinese language, you are introducing certain ideas to them, certain lessons, certain topics to them. So if you can match between these and the English language, this is going to be highly appropriate for their own level and for their own culture. They are going to accept it much better.
That's a wonderful suggestion, and that's exactly what we're doing right now. But the thing is, when we are comparing, when we're using our own set of vocabulary and framework curriculum, it's in English, not in Chinese, but the English curriculum, we're bound to like say 360 words for pre-A1. But for this is a self-assessment that we would like to provide on a platform. So it's electronic so that every kid could assess themselves whether or not they make it. So we are also referring to like TOEFL primary for their test that they created, but TOEFL primary, the way they design it, it's even more complicated than pre-A1, I think, like to include paragraph reading for pre-A1. I don't think that's our kids have the same level as you know.
Yeah, we are
as
always,
international.
The problem is that when we would like to do an English curriculum, and as you have said, you started at 8-9 years old. So sometimes we believe that it's too late and they should learn more than that at the 9 years old age. So this what causes the problem. So we start thinking or comparing between the students, our own students in your own country, and those of the same students, for example, in Europe or in another country. So it's not fair for them because they haven't started yet learning the language. So if we start with a very, very simple comparison of vocabulary and usage of vocabulary and very few, very short comprehension passages of 2-3 sentences only, and then we develop it step by step as we go on, they are going to start developing with the language. Once they start getting used to the language, you can start introducing different kinds of passages to them. The problem is that we are always in a rush to do that, but we don't give the students time in order to start getting up with the language, raising up with the language, getting used to it, learning it, using it, and then expressing themselves using it, and then go ahead and develop it for them. And another important point also is the idea of functioning using the language. It's not the idea of learning words. It's the idea of how to use the words to speak about themselves. This is the learning of the language. If we keep in mind the idea of the real language use, it makes a great difference.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Thank you. It has been a pleasure. Okay.
Okay,
Any
well, thank you
questions?
very much, Maha. We appreciate
You're
that.
most welcome. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, great. Let's see. What time is it? It's almost actually. Nagla, do you have any comment for Maha or question? Anything else? Did you take her session?
Actually, no, unfortunately. I was busy with with my own session I was moderating, but I hope someday I would definitely. And this has been really very useful. I took quite a few notes, and I'm very interested in the idea of pluricultural competence, because again, like here in Canada, I have students again from different cultural backgrounds. So this is very interesting. Thank you, Maha.
You're most welcome. Over there on the platform, there is the recording of the 4 webinars that we have already done with the full discussion of the ideas of every week. So if you'd like to go there and take some more notes, extra notes, there are also some attachments of different references that you can use if you'd like to. And of course, if you'd like to write to me, you are most welcome.
And we hope that you present it again next year, Maha, right?
Hope so. I'm already thinking of how to develop it in a different way, because this year again, the ALTE of Europe, again, they are mainly concerned with assessment and the CEFR. We're already working on the explanation and development of the application of these new revisions. So I hope I can benefit from these new researches in order to develop it for next year, hopefully.
Okay, well, thank you again. So
you are most welcome.
Looks like it's time for our session, and that's the next one is what is the session that's next? It looks like it's EVO Minecraft MOOC. Let's see, and there are a number of moderators, among them Jane and myself, and we're going to tell you about that session now. I guess it's our turn. So Jane, just tell me when you want to pop in, and I'll yeah, okay. We know what each other is doing by now. Okay, so let me just make sure that I've got the view. Let me just stop the share for a minute and just make sure I've got the view that I want. Yes, okay, speaker view. All right. Actually, gallery view is better when we're sharing. Okay. So back to this. Okay, so we're, oh, okay. As I move pictures off the screen, they bounce around to other places, and it's really annoying. Okay, so anyway, we're EVO Minecraft MOOC at the Best of EVO, and Jane and I will be here. There are other presenters. Actually, we were very grateful to Rose Bard, who was definitely going to be here. She pretty much made most of the slideshow. The rest of us have augmented it, but she was planning to. She was our organizer for a while, but she couldn't attend in person. Aaron and Dawn should probably be along for the tour afterwards. So let's see. There is. Oh, you know something? When I started the share, I didn't make the sound happen. So let me go back and do that. So there we go. Computer sound is coming. And in this one, the video doesn't seem to be playing, but that's okay. We've got it right here. We're going to play 17 seconds of this video. This is a great introduction by Rose. Okay, now it gets promotional into the session that we have just finished, but you can see in this video, that's our spawn point. And Surah, or Laura Briggs, built all that. Let me see if I can get back into the presentation. There we are. Okay, so, oh, when you hit the video, when you hit go, it plays it for you. Okay, so let me see if I can get back to this again now. How do I get to the next? I think I just might have to manually put it on the next slide. There we go. Okay. And the video is still playing. Okay. No, it's not. All right. Oh, okay. So back to the presentation. These are our moderators for this time around. There's Aaron Schwartz, who runs our server. He'll be along at 11 o'clock when we do the Minecraft MOOC tour. And Don, also known as Abu Fletcher. I used to know him in Oman, actually, and I guess that's why he's in Arab dress. Arab Fletcher, Abu Fletcher means father of Fletcher, who is his first son. Maha Abdelmoneim, who we know as Olive Tree, and Jeff Kuhn, who was one of our seminal moderators, Kim Harrison, and Laura. Actually, we both got from VSDE, which is a kind of a K-12 group that's very into technology, Virginia Society for Technology and Education. Marijana Smolčec, also one of our seminal moderators, and then Maddie Tsai, who's one of our very esteemed moderators, and he sometimes comes along with his mom, Jane. And then Rose Bard, who also makes a moderating team. We have many parent-children moderating teams. Her son Emmanuel also plays with us. And this is me and my daughter, Bobby. No, sorry, that's my wife, Bobby. And then Mircea Patrascu, who is an excellent blogger. You should read his blogs, telling really interesting tales of what he does in Minecraft, and makes up interesting stories, which are actually models for what we can do with students. And Dakota Redstone, who is, we always see him by his avatar, but he's a very knowledgeable and friendly and helpful kind of mentor for us. So we have a portal. If I click here, you can see it. The interesting thing that this slide points out is that we archive everything that we do, and all those, that was an image actually, but if you go to the missions for Minecraft, which is EVO, missions for Minecraft.pbworks.com, then you can see this this introduction right here. All these things, there's an internet problem loading them all in, but if you leave it long enough, they all pop in. So this tells people, this is our portal page. It tells people how to get into EVO Minecraft MOOC, and all that stuff is here in the sidebar. So if you go anywhere else, you, like if you want to go to any of the archives, for example, they're all given here. If you want to find out what we did in our very first session, live recordings, you can click there and you can see what we did, what we have archived from our very first session. So as you see, the sidebar stays with us, even though the live events go elsewhere. Okay, so we have several spaces. You just saw one. The wiki is the EVO Minecraft MOOC wiki space. This is where we present our missions. Now, if you've been around EVO for a long time and you were here when Shelley Terrell did her ebook sessions, she inculcated in me to call anything you ask students to do missions. So missions are what you do to accomplish things in the course. We also have a Facebook group. Let's see if we click there, we can see it. Hello, Facebook group. Okay, so this is our Facebook group. Looks like we're talking about what we're doing in EVO here. And Rose Bard, by the way, posts about her Mine Academy, Minecraft, yeah, Mine Academy, I believe. And she does a lot of work in that. So if she were here, she could tell us more about that. Groups.io is replaced Yahoo Groups, but it's where we can communicate with each other directly for people who use emails. Discord is a voice chat that we use while we're playing Minecraft, but it also has many affordances for setting up a community for us. You can stream your Minecraft stream into Discord. Has channels for us to talk about whatever topic we need to talk about it. And also it connects with the server. So whatever goes on the server comes up in Discord, and we can talk to people in the server through Discord. It's very nice affordance there. These are some of the places that we have built over the years. In the 7 years we've been doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2021 is number 7. If you want to visit this place from the server, we have a warp to it. So not only do we archive our recordings and live sessions and things like that, but we also archive our builds. So that's not very useful to you if you're not in the server, but just to know that you can actually go to that place where we were, I believe, in 2019. Okay, so for this, we have a registration page when people want to express interest in our course. They fill out a Google form, and it gives us a database of who is registered for the course, and these are the countries that were represented. So we had over 100 people registered for the session, and getting them into Minecraft is a little bit more difficult. Or, you know, well, people do come along and do it, but this time we had 16 participants, and that's not counting moderators, who joined us on EVO Minecraft MOOC server, and that's quite a lot of people actually, because it's very difficult to go from express an interest, come to our Zoom sessions, then to actually get onto the server. That's where the cheese is. So you haven't really evaded the cat until you can get onto the server. So the fact that 16 people did that is some accomplishment. And then once we get, everybody has to come into Minecraft in order to learn from us. You can't learn just by talking about Minecraft. We have a lot of things for you to read. We've done a lot of presentations, lots of things you can do to warm up for your for coming onto the server. And Discord, as I mentioned, hooks up with Minecraft. This is a view of, this might be one of my screenshots. I'm not really sure. Yes, it is. There's my name there. Okay, so I was visiting Dakota Redstone on his Halliwell server. Jane, am I wandering into your territory yet?
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Oh.
Why don't you take over and talk about some of our expectations and things like that?
Our expectations is we like our participants to explore and play Minecraft with us. Yesterday,
Jane,
yes,
I didn't think about this before. Can I stop the share and you can start one?
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that way I get control over my computer and I get a break. And there's Don. Hey, Don, how you doing? Don Carroll's one of our moderators. You can unmute yourself, first of all, and then pop in and talk about our outcomes if you like. We're on this slide right here.
Okay, let me pull up my slide right here and present and okay, share. Okay, and we are on this page.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. Okay, so we would really like our participants to come in our server and play and explore language learning and teaching with us. Well, yesterday in the virtual worlds panel, Jeff Kuhn has talked about right now being the experiential age that, you know, kids are playing in the virtual worlds, but teachers are not. And so we have in our session, you know, when it's a live presentation like Zoom meetings, there are lots of educators coming in for the Zoom presentations, but not like we showed you, only 16 participants actually went in world and, you know, explored Minecraft with us. Okay, we also provide curate resources relevant to Minecraft, share discoveries and accomplishments with other participants. Like Don always showed us, he is a great photographer in world, in the real life. He captures wonderful scenes and tells stories with it, and that's how we can also use that for teaching as well. Create spaces in Minecraft where desired learning outcomes can be promoted, and we learn to build and survive in Minecraft and expand personal learning networks by befriending colleagues who can help each other continue their exploration of Minecraft as an environment for staging and enhancing learning. This is like the details of 16 participants engaged in different levels with our session, but we have here this picture here was taken by our server host, Aaron. This documents this is like a leaderboards for the top 10 people who have logged in. And if you can see here, Stuart has spent 31 days, which is like 31 days times 24 hours. That's a lot of time in world anyways. So this is our list, and I'm not going to go over them, but you can see very quickly 6 teachers, 4 professors, 1 TESOL undergraduate, 2 ELT consultants, 2 material writers, and 1 work with EdTech. And that's basically their backgrounds. We started off with a kickoff of barbecue, having a barbecue hosted by Dakota Redstone in Minecraft, and we had fun barbecuing. And our kickoff event was on January 11th, and a lot of people joined us. There are several, but a lot of PlayStation sessions in Minecraft hosted by Vance, Bobby, Maha, Laura, Briggs, and they were fun. And let me see. So our participants also had an opportunity to go to different servers. This one, Hollowell by Dakota, Ascraft by Maha, and Visti server actually hosted a Minecraft Monday, and with Dark introducing how the redstone works. And there are tons of participants, like 15, and we live streamed it with 22 views.
Could I point out something on that slide?
Yeah. This
one? Where you see in 2021, I think I'm not sure. Anyway, I think that's hyperlinked. So if anybody in our slides are shared publicly, and right there in the PB, they're in the well, actually, they're at the Learning Together wiki, but I'll put them up when I post my record of this at learningtogether.net. The slides will all be there. I'm not sure if we've shared them on the, but in any event, all these links are hyperlinked, so you can go to this.
This one is, yeah.
Hollowell server will take you to the where Dax took us around it. AZCraft will take you to the video of that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next slide. We had 2 very formal presentations, one on the topic of key aspects for teacher development in Minecraft by Rose and I. And we talked about, well, Rose helped me work with my graduate students. I had 2 classes of graduate students, and it was a call technology enhanced language learning class. And I've introduced Minecraft and helped using Minecraft education version and help them explore how they can deliver Minecraft lessons, Minecraft English lessons. And so we talked about that, and we have a lot of participants for this session. And afterwards, it's viewed 99 times. And also the second presentation was Rose presenting her work with a Mine Academy. And she's opening up at Mine Academy, and she's having her own students. And she's sharing how she set up Mine Academy. And she's working on writing a research paper on that as well. So this is really professional development, not only for participants, but for moderators as well. Okay, so you can see here, these are the screenshots of, this is kickoff on January 11th. This is the presentation on key aspects for teacher development in Minecraft. And this is presenting for sharing about Minecraft Academy English Club right here, okay. Leveled up in Minecraft. So this slide was, you know, created by Rose, and quoting that Katrina has not only developed her Minecraft skills through EVO Minecraft session, but has also decided to continue develop her skills in order to teach kids Tagalog and English. I'm super happy to have her as mentee in Mind Academy Teachers Club for Minecraft in Education, and to help her develop her pedagogical Minecraft skills and become a global mentor. Okay, so this is Katrina right here. Okay, mission accomplished with success. Okay, so
she was very enthusiastic. So there she is right there in that picture.
Okay, yeah, that's right here. And so what we put here, participants' testimonies, you know, like Vance had mentioned, that we're like family members participating in this professional development. A lot of us bring our kids in here on the server because we like to explore how they learn in this virtual world. And we found out that they actually have better Minecraft skills than adults, than teachers, than we do. And so Jamie Harrison, a professor, she was saying that thank you for this great EVO class. And she said that although she wasn't not nearly involved as she wanted, but she really appreciate all the work and a relationship building that goes on into this group. And I hope to stay part of things. One great outcome for me has been finally figuring how to have my own account that is separate from my son's account, and that I can actually try things out on my own. See, right here, a son that plays Minecraft better than his mom. A special thanks to as well for your openness to growing our children, and my son adores everything EVO. So see, I really like that. So that's why we're sharing this. And lessons learned. These are I think that part of this EVO Minecraft MOOC community, we have found that, well, not so many participants are willing to join us in world in Minecraft. And Jeff Kuhn has mentioned about digital literacy for educators, and that in this virtual world, because of the pandemic, the gaming the gaming industry has grown, and a lot more kids have spent their time in gaming, but perhaps educators are not. And so we started, because of this Minecraft MOOC session, I've introduced Minecraft to my graduate students, 40 in-service teachers and 10 pre-service teachers, and we're learning how to build English lessons in Minecraft so that we're meeting our kids in world and engaging them in the virtual world that they love. And these are pictures of it. And Rose is developing her own Mind Academy and developing scavenger hunts for her students. And also Laura Briggs was able to, because one of the biggest events in the US is NASA landing Mars rover onto Mars. And so, with Minecraft, you could recreate that Mars environment and have kids explore Mars and talk about Mars. And it's a virtual setting where kids can be engage and interact and use the language that relates to that setting. So I think that we will continue to help bring educators in Minecraft, and hopefully that they will create more lessons for our kids. and we will end. This is, oh, perhaps, I don't know if you can hear this. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop my share so that Vance can show this video, and I really like what Laura has created for us. Vance, can you show that video that Laura?
Yeah, I will. Christine is becoming a little concerned about the time. I mean, I want to show the video, okay, and we could show it like we're going to be contiguously streaming or recording. So maybe we could pause right here and ask if anybody has any questions, and then we'll show the video, and then we'll go into the discussion with Dawn and the other people and Aaron. So does anybody have any questions about what you've seen or what we're doing?
I have a question.
Okay.
Well, this year I had hoped that I could enter, but then that didn't work out either. And I noticed that you have some beginners in there. Did the beginners stay in and get to a level where they actually were able to play and not only play, but also use their skills possibly for use in the classroom with their own students?
I was a beginner in 2015, and I have continued for 7 years now, and I'm feeling pretty good about it as far as using it with my own students. I did actually in UAE, I used it with my students. But Mircea is another one. I'm pretty sure she was a beginner because she was asking about chopping trees and things like that when she first arrived. She has really thrived in the world. I don't know, maybe you could think of other examples. Don was a beginner when he finally had to do moderator.
I was thinking in terms of being an educator. You know, in some ways, I think it's going to be challenging for teachers to stay ahead of kids. It just almost like won't happen. There's a great South Park episode about kids playing Minecraft and the parents not knowing how to do it, so they hire a kid to teach them secret lessons in Minecraft. But in that sense, I think that shouldn't stop a teacher from using it. And it says you don't have to be the expert. You can let the kids do their thing in it without controlling it. I almost feel that's the greatest value of Minecraft, rather than the teacher, let's say, programming a lesson to let things happen that the kids are largely controlling, and the teacher is sort of there, you know, the guide on the side concept.
Kids love to explain what they're doing.
Excuse me, Vance. Wouldn't there have to be some goals for a particular lesson when they're working in Minecraft, you know, where either during that lesson they all come together with and there's a product at the end, or over a period of time, you know, they work on the process, but it's scaffolded by the teacher to arrive at a certain outcome?
VSTE is a very good example of that. They have the first Monday of every month, they have what's called Minecraft Mondays, and they always do something different. For example, one time they took us around turtle farms that they had set up. One kid built a bunch of NASA jet rockets, and we saw them in creative in what is it called, the view that you can travel through things, so you can go through them and you can see the detail inside. Yeah, they also put up they have pixel art. They create pixel art, so as part of your art curriculum. Redstone is a very good one that Jane just showed. Dark Knight was showing the VST people how to put together redstone themselves. Redstone works kind of like electricity. It works with logic gates and with repeaters and things like that. So it's something you can use that kind of skill. You know, building in Minecraft requires some architectural intuition, mathematical, because it's all done by blocks. So you often have to predict, let's see, if I head out this way, which way do I go to reach the surface or reach the spawner I'm trying to reach or whatever. So there's a lot of calculation. Oh, map making. You can find treasure maps in Minecraft, and you can orient yourself on the map. We discuss it amongst ourselves. Dawn found one the other day.
I think to really make use of that, you really have to move away from traditional ideas of language teaching, of the idea like, today we're going to have a lesson that does the past tense. I don't think you can effectively do those sorts of lessons in Minecraft. It is more the sort of, you know, ultimately it's CLIL. You know, that's what Vance is just describing here. This is a content language integrated situation. And I think particularly for young children, this works for them. Say, let's build a rocket. And what's the language that can come out of that? So maybe it's a case of they play in world, and then out of world in the classroom, they are working on language that, you know, the teacher makes some notes and then afterwards develops those language points. That's the way I see it.
Another example in the Visti world, they gave us all fishing rods, and we had to go out and fish. And when you caught a fish, you collected some fish, and then you had to walk back and go to a database. You had to go to a database and enter the fish that you caught and the objects that you caught. And everybody was doing that on a collected database. And this database was actually populated by materials that the students had produced. So that kind of skills where you're gathering data and analyzing it, perhaps making a product from that, just to learn how the fishing works. So, you know, there's all kinds of possibilities. You know, one complaint about Minecraft is you're kind of asking, well, is it in the curriculum? But the answer to that is the curriculum is in it. So there's always it doesn't have to be done all the time. It's just something that you can do. You know, games-based learning is quite popular because it engages people, students.
Well, Vance, somewhere, one of your papers or something, some presentation, you have a quote from somebody way back that's basically people learn quickest when they're
Earl Stevick.
Yeah, can you say that?
The knowledge that is gained through doing that's incidental to something that you are doing. The knowledge that you gain from that is more powerful than learning it directly. And right. Something like that.
Yeah, that's the essence. Yeah, something like that. That really playing Minecraft. It isn't like, okay, I'm going to teach these language points. I'm going to play Minecraft, and the language will come in through that.
And there's evidence from that from the Smolčecs too, because I mean, those are amazing kids. That's how I got. I don't know if Marijana is here. She was in an earlier session I was in, but there she is. Hi, Marijana.
Hello.
You can tell us a little. You interviewed Philip, 9 years old at the time, and he told. We were trying to find out how did he learn so fluently English.
The point is that our oldest son, who is now 17, started playing Minecraft when he was at the age of 8. But the younger son was the one who found out about the game online. And of course, it was fun for them. They learned by doing, but he didn't know how to do certain things, and he was trying to find more information on YouTube. And after that, he stumbled upon many, YouTube tutorials, and people were speaking English, explaining. And after a certain time, they quickly pick up the language, because you have to know how to craft certain things in Minecraft. You have to figure out the language. And after a year, he said, I got better and better at speaking English because he was so immersed in the game. And at the age of 9, he actually created his own video tutorials. I don't know whether that's because he's such, he likes to learn by doing, right? And most of us teachers are like that. So
he likes to teach his friends, his peers.
yeah,
it's all in English because he's Croatian.
Yeah. He did. He would, of course, make mainly videos in English at first. And I was impressed by him doing this at this very early age. And his English was, he actually speaks better. Both of them, they speak better English than I do. Their accent is perfect American English. And Vance can definitely witness that because he met them. I have something between, it's like learned English. So I read at that time when they were younger that you actually learn the language at the age until the age of 6, 7, or 8 with the both hemispheres of your brain. So it was very easy for them. They learned the language as they were, because they were exposed to it as the native people. And now I must say, in a way, they speak English in at certain point better than Croatian, even though they live in Croatia. They can understand quickly and easily things in English. Everything that they read, they like to read mainly in English. They even struggle with certain materials in Croatian because they don't want to work on it. But Philip is special. He can learn many foreign languages. He speaks German, Spanish, and he even started learning Japanese. So for him, that's something different. But all in all, the game itself made him work on his language, and it just picked up. And as soon as he's learned basic language, he started to communicate, as you mentioned, Vance, with friends, first on Skype, then on Discord, and they would speak and playing the Minecraft, and they would use English speaking and communicating, and it just move on. And at the age of 10, he had his first online webinar for teachers about how to use Minecraft. So that's.
And he told me that when they first started watching videos in YouTube, they couldn't understand a word. And the more they watched, he said language emerged. Perfect, eh?
I think, we normally think of just like watching as a passive thing. And, like say, nobody would say that simply sitting in front of a TV is a good language learning opportunity. But somehow watching gameplay tutorials is a different sort of thing, in the sense you sort of know what's happening in terms of the action, so you can make more sense of the language.
That was a good question.
Well, for the kids at the very early stages, I teach English. Started teaching English with kids at 7 or 8 years of age, and now I teach secondary students. But the most important thing in a child when they learn a foreign language, and I noticed that with my colleagues who teach German in school and so on, is that you have to make them love the language. If they have something that it's like, if they find it difficult, it should be fun. As long as it's fun, no problem. Even though, at the first, this A1, A2 level from in European, common European framework, you have to pick up as much vocabulary if you get, and then it will just start if you do this, it will be perfect later on, even though it even gets complicated grammar. Now I will just get back a little bit with my younger son, who is now 15. So he didn't do as much as Philip did, but he was only 5 when he was playing a game called Plant vs. Zombies. And as I said with Philip, he was playing the game, and he also wanted to learn something more. He was age 5 and didn't know how to record himself, screen share, whatever. And he took a digital camera of ours from the somewhere from the wardrobe and just put it in front of the screen. And then we came into the room and he was pretending to be a YouTuber playing Plant vs. Zombies and explaining in a very good English, but child pronunciation, like how to do this, how to buy this in normal English. And he even at the age of 5, remember, this is age of 5, not a native speaker. He already used conditional sentences, which for learners of foreign language is like not even in a mother tongue. I don't know that I would hear him as using conditional sense. So if you do this, if you do that, make sure this, and hi guys, and so on. So I was amazed. And I think we have this DVD. My husband made a DVD of what he created at the age of 5. And Philip, when he recorded himself, now I think he said, I'm ashamed. Oh my God, what kind of a voice. I was just a baby, but this is how you started. And now he's actually a professional. And it took him years actually to be this great, even though in a way I'm a bit scared that games can make you addicted. Even though they are great at English, the younger son, I think he got totally addicted into. So make sure not them play too much. So that's the only problem here. But they do learn a lot, right?
let me clarify for everyone here that we're into our second session right now. We have 2 sessions. Someone has started a screen share.
Is that Chien?
Yeah, anyway, this is our second session. And the second session is a Minecraft tour. And we had planned to do the Minecraft tour with a was that screen share on purpose, or is that just me? Anyway, we're going into Minecraft and we're going to show people around, and we plan to have a discussion just like we're doing right now. And here's Aaron too. Aaron's here for the tour. We have an hour for the tour. We can be here till 11, but we were planning to have a little discussion just like we're doing right now. So